up, telling him it was really the monkey paw on her hand. She herself was in a daze. The events that happened like a dream, fuzzy in memory, but that doesn't really explain why.
What the fuck?
This makes her situation crystal clear. She wished to be closer to Hitagi on the aberration known as the monkey's paw, which is known to grant the user's wishes in a roundabout way. So the paw is attempting to take Koyomi out of the picture to achieve this goal. Everything seems rather straightforward.
Oh my god, bro, he's not gonna let me get close to his ass.
The story is told through the altruistic lens of a kind teenage boy. He doesn't question for a moment the motives within the unconscious of Kanbaru Suruga, but Oshino does. While Koyomi may represent natural good of the world, Oshino is a chaotic neutral. He plays both sides, and in this case is playing for Team Koyomi. The odds stacked against his favor due to his trust in nature. There are holes and half-truths in Kanbaru's story of the monkey paw. She says she was gifted it by her mother, who would later die in a car crash along with her father. She then became bullied at school for being slow, leading to her first wish on the paw to be a faster runner. But the paw chose to attack the other runners in a race and not just make her faster, which would have been easy. So leads Kanbaru to think it's a monkey paw, but Oshino believes that this is just a psychological crutch to make her feel less responsible. Kanbaru trains from that point forward to be the fastest runner, not knowing how long the effect of the paw will last, not wanting anyone else to be hurt. Years go by, and Kanbaru has yet to use the paw since, though it calls to her every so often when she's pushed against the wall and has to rely on herself to fight out. She believes her mother left the paw so that she would have to rely on her own strength and not others. But that seems a very ironic gift if that was the message. Oshino believes this too. Kanbaru would finally cave to using the paw after seeing Koyomi and Hitagi together. He had filled the spot that Kanbaru always wanted to be in. She wanted to make Hitagi sound like he does.
That shit didn't get there yet.
She curses herself for being a fool and listening when Hitagi told her to stay away. But how could she not? It was the first time Hitagi had ever asked anything of her. Her frustration leads her to the paw's drawer. She does not remember pulling it out, nor questioning the increasing length of the oddity, but she remembers her wish to be by Hitagi's side. Deep in her unconscious, what Kanbaru really wants is for Koyomi to die, to be removed completely from the picture. If the wish was simply to be close to Hitagi, the paw would have granted exactly that, because this aberration isn't a monkey's paw that grants wishes in a roundabout way. It's the hand of a rainy devil, and with a demon, the contract is a contract. 3 wishes for your soul, and it grants your deepest desires, not just the simplest level. Kanbaru, deep down, wants Koyomi dead, and her face tells us all we need to know. Oshino cannot be fooled by such an emotional tale like Koyomi, and he tells the boy to question more, wondering why he would take the words of his would-be killer at face value. There's 2 solutions to this problem. Either cut the rainy devil's arm off Kanbaru, or let it kill Koyomi. The answer seems simple. An arm for life is a rather fair deal. But while Kanbaru accepts his fate, Koyomi is the one who opts for an alternative. He wouldn't do anything that meant another life would be harmed in the process, even if it meant harming his own. Koyomi believes that with the help of his pseudo-vampire abilities, he could potentially overwhelm the devil in a one-on-one. Given that Kanbaru seems against the idea of killing him, he would only have to fight the arm off, which in turn wouldn't void the contract. The devil seems outmatched. Oshino thinks this is a dumb idea, but given his value on neutrality and letting those involved solve their own issues, he lets Koyomi try, though he makes a call to ensure the boy doesn't die, though he does not share this with them as he enters the octagon. No. At first the fight seems in his favor, having to focus on just the left arm. But a wrench is thrown in the mix. Kanbaru herself still wants to kill him. Koyomi is overwhelmed with attacks, pushed to the brink of death, but the plan will still work if he dies. The wish will be complete, and everyone will get what they want. Only he has to lose something tonight, even if it's his own life. But Hitagi interjects. Oshino knew that in that room, Koyomi likely would try to sacrifice himself instead of cutting the arm off, so he made a call that he knew would turn the tide. Hitagi questions why it is he lied to her about Kanbaru attacking him that night. He stutters, but she doesn't let him finish. She knows he would have likely chose to go down this same route of sacrificing his own life, even if his body was not regenerative. His actions affect the life of others, even if he doesn't see it that way. Throwing his life away would in turn affect her, having told him earlier she would kill anyone if they murdered him, meaning the surface wish of Kanbaru would not come to fruition and is cancelled. The devil is lost. Kanbaru confesses her love to Hitagi. Hitagi tells her she doesn't love her, but she can still stand by her side. She apologizes for pushing her away. Koyomi stands by watching the reunion, realizing the irony of his actions. This was always something between Hitagi and Kanbaru. He had just inserted himself in, tried to solve personal issues for others. Something he commonly does. He commonly fails to fix, usually resulting in him turning into a human punching Surely Oshino found this funny. He knew this wouldn't be solved by Koimi's reason, but by the mending of a bond. Unwanted favors, interfering where he isn't wanted. This is what he does. He comments that everyone in their own way is perverse, deliberately acting in a way that is contrary to the norm. That may be true, but there isn't anyone that does it quite like he does. Koyomi has been tasked by Oshino to put a talisman on top of a nearby shrine. With him, Kanbaru has been tasked by Hitagi to bridge a friendship with Koyomi after nearly killing him. Koyomi acts as if he's displeased by this, but deep down, gets along with her just fine. At the top of the shrine, it's clear something is not right. Kanbaru gets woozy and scattered around the place are snakes chopped into pieces, staked onto the ground in trees. Seeing this, it finally hits Koyomi where he saw that girl who ran by them before. That was his little sister's friend, Nadeko. Koyomi shares the events of the day at the shrine with Hanako, who says it must have been a hard time for him. But on the way, Hanako points out to Koyomi that Hitagi has found herself in an awkward position, wanting Kanbaru and Koyomi to get along, but not get along too much. She, at the end of the day, still wants Koyomi to pick her over Kanbaru. Koyomi thinks this is an improbable idea since Kanbaru was lesbian, but that's just a showcase of the immaturity he faces. He thinks sexually first. After all, he is a teenage boy. What Hanako is really implying, though, here is emotion, picking to hang out with Kanbaru over Hitagi, that kind of thing. She points out Koyomi's kindness makes him irresponsible, creating an example by going in for a kiss and pausing just before. We can tell that Koyomi didn't necessarily want this, but he also doesn't make any movements to reject it. He lacks the ability to disregard others' feelings for him, something that one day would bite him in the ass. Being wholly altruistic, trying to save and please everyone isn't realistic, and Koyomi will learn just that. Hanako ran off after suffering a headache, a sign that the Sawari neck collaboration may be returning to her, though Koyomi doesn't have the time to think about it. Still curious and worried as to why Nadeko is cutting its stinks in a ritual, he returns to the shrine finding her there. He called Kanbaru to assist him with this, hoping that the presence of a girl would make a high school boy coming up to a middle schooler a little less weird, but it's clear that Nadeko wouldn't have had a problem with this anyway, calling him big brother and showing clear signs she has a crush on him, carrying over from all those years ago when she used to come and play with his sister.
Wait.
Nadeko shows Koyomi and Kanbaru the scales burned onto her skin. A girl in her class had put a curse on her after Nadeko rejected a boy she liked. Jealous of it, Nadeko had tried to break the curse on top of the snake shrine, but it seemed to just be getting worse. This problem clearly needing some guidance from Oshino. Oshino tells Koyomi that what Nadeko is facing is a high-class aberration snake known as the Jagiryunawa. This kind of oddity never should have been able to be summoned by some amateur with a grudge. What Nadeko did wasn't the wrong process of breaking it either. She was just unlucky in where she tried to break it. That snake shrine at one point was completely empty, but ever since the events of Spring Break, when Kishkan came to town, the place has been a heightened location for malviolent yokai, the point in which a yokai war nearly broke out. Koyomi putting the talisman on that shrine prevented that though, but nonetheless, that was after Nadeko's snake curse had become a Jagiryunawa, and if you're not thinking about breaking this, she could die. He gives Koyomi a mama praying bag, telling him to have the girl pray on top of the shrine, and the snake should disappear. But before he leaves, Oshino warns Koyomi of his potential departure. One day, he will leave this place, and Koyomi won't be able to come to him for